What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Trash Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Nick. Tonight, our guests are the dudes in Exigent. Like always, I'm going to have the chat fill up a little bit, invite them in, and we'll start the interview. I'm trying a little bit of new aesthetics here. I don't know how I feel about that, but let me see if I can change this up. There we go. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, man?
Not much, not much. Trying to position myself perfect. There we go. All right. So, I don't know if you guys have seen all the other interviews, but I go from the beginning to right now. So, first initial question for all of you is, what got you guys into music? Like, music in general, not just heavy music.
You want us to go one by one?
Yeah, sure.
For me, it was my dad. Growing up, riding in his car, listening to people like Frank Zappa, the Creedence, AC/DC. He would play Kiss and stuff like that. And I remember, for me, it was always like the bands that had the bigger guitar sound, like really would drive me wild. And every once in a while back then in the 90s, you would come across an FM station that was playing like real metal. And my dad wasn't into that. He was more of a classic rock guy. But I would hear that and I would go nuts. And I used to play like air guitar, but I would be like embarrassed to show him. So I'd be sitting in the car, but I would like face the passenger window and like do my air guitar like that, like pretending I was like Jimi Hendrix or something. He'd be like, Chris, that's metal.
Awesome.
Well, I got into music via like my whole family played music, and my uncle was in a hardcore band, a bunch of them when I was young. So I grew up around like a lot of music and really jumped right into like metal and hardcore. Like I didn't have much of a rock section of my life. It was all like pretty much right away. I was listening to just heavier things. Green Day was my first favorite band, though, for sure.
Nice. Who's next?
For me, it was it was more my uncle than anyone, because he played in a lot of death metal bands when I was young. Showed me a lot of like Cannibal Corpse, Suffocation, all that type of stuff. Kind of grew up off that for a while. I got into like Linkin Park a lot too. Linkin Park, fucking. A lot of my influences come from Lil Wayne, dude. That's like that's my number one.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
He's our SoundCloud rapper.
Yeah.
True.
Hell yeah.
I didn't really have a choice getting into music. My grandfather was a music teacher, so I had to learn how to play an instrument. I had no choice. But similar story, riding around in the car with my dad. Hendrix, Doors, heavy rock. And then my brother-in-law got me into Pantera, and it was all from there.
Nice. Fucking love Pantera. So it seems like you guys have like different like influential backgrounds. You have hardcore.
Yeah.
You came from like death metal and hip hop, which that's dope because that has groove. I'm not going to front about that. Slamming death metal and hip hop are groovy as fuck.
Yes.
So, is Exigent at all of your first project or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, okay. Because I was just gonna see if we could do a backstory of resumes here, but I guess we're at the jump.
I was big into like moshing at hardcore shows for a long time. So I was always in local like death metal and deathcore. Like even when you guys were talking with See You Next Tuesday the other night, I actually went to that Red Chord show.
Sure.
I was like Max, but I was a big Crazy Donkey goer. So that's what I got into it's how I wanted to start a band, and I found this dude from our old drummer, and it's been magic since.
Well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, that's where things work out. I basically went from slowly declining from a musician to basically being, I guess, a podcaster.
A
Uh,
cultivator.
Hey, you know what though? That's awesome. Like maybe you found your niche and just like bringing more attention to people. Like I think it's really dope what you're doing.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Where are you guys based from anyway?
We're all right. If you want to call our base, we're basically based like out of Ronkonkoma, Long Island,
Okay, out east.
which if you were to look at Long Island on a map and you went a little east of center and drop the pin right in the middle, that's about like where like our base is out of.
Okay, yeah, you were 20. How far is Ronkonkoma from Lindenhurst? I think that's like 20 minutes from where my hometown's from.
Yeah.
So,
Further east. I
Oh,
lived
you're
in
from,
Lindenhurst.
you're from, I once dated a nice young lady from Lindenhurst.
oh, for sure we were nice. No, I'm kidding.
Using government names.
Yeah, don't use government names. Yeah, dude. Like, so okay, so you guys came from out east. Usually when going to shows, like, what are you guys in your mid-30s, early 30s?
I'm 29 next month.
No, I'm
Okay.
30.
I'm 24, 25 next month.
I'm fucking old. Okay, I'm old. All right. So basically, where do each of you pull from your influences? I know you said predominantly death metal and Lil Wayne, but I want to know, like, each of you guys, give me at least like a top 3 influences on you on writing music.
I got 3 right off the bat. Dimebag Darrell is the reason why I picked up a guitar. I tried guitar at a really young age and didn't have the patience to learn it. And then I saw, which is now an iconic video of Cowboys from Hell at Ozfest 2000 with the flame stage. And he came out, his guitar was broken, so he came back out with the horn hat with the Confederate flag guitar, and he just ripped that. And like I said, from a young age, I was already air guitaring in my dad's car and shit. Like, I almost really knew that's what I was going to do. I saw that video and it sold it for me. I love his style. I'll say, though, like, I incorporate a lot of his pinch harmonic work in my stuff. However, I got to give it, and damn, I should be shot for not remembering this man's last name, but Ollie from All That Remains, huge influence. I'd say if you were to hear you'll pick up All That Remains, a little bit of Pantera, some Kill Switch, and some As I Lay Dying. My guitar work, 100%. Like, I do a lot of that string skipping, minor work, stuff like that. I love like shriek chords, horror chords, stuff like that.
Nice. Okay, dope. A little bit of Ollie Herbert, a little bit of Phil Grosso in there, a little bit of Dimebag. That sounds pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, Dimebag was huge for me too. I mean, any song for me or anything I got into just had to have the 3 elements. It had to be heavy, it had to be psychedelic, and it had to groove. So that could kind of translate to any metal, like, Pantera, Crowbar, I Hate God. It could go back to the Doors in the 60s and Hendrix, Sabbath, anything with those 3 elements. But I mean, influences, like, my brother-in-law who told me how to play guitar, he kind of made sure I was well-rounded. I would play, I'm classically trained. I'm trained in jazz, trained in metal. I try to be well-rounded with that.
Good. That's awesome. Like, you always want to be like well-rounded as a musician and be able to pull from different things.
So,
For me, it was it comes down to Converge, Suffocation, and the Acacia Strain.
You
That's
sold me at the first band, bro. You
Yeah.
sold me at Cooper.
hell yeah. That's like my uncle would play with them, and that was one of his favorite hardcore bands. So like that was the Poacher's Diary was one of the first CDs I had like for myself, and it's practically worn out how many times I've listened to it. So definitely Converge.
Oh yeah.
I would say a lot of my influences, like especially when I wanted to start drumming, was a lot of As I Lay Dying, like '03, like as fuck, what was the record? No. It was
That's
one with
Illusions. Is that Oceans of
one
Illusions
with
or the
Comfort
one before?
Betrays and
Frail Words.
Frail
Words collapse.
Frail Words Collapse.
Hell yeah.
94 Hours and Forever. An Elegy.
Hours.
I love that record, man.
Yeah. Definitely Paul from Cannibal Corpse, cause he's just fucking nasty. Like so many years and so many records, he played that fast on every touring record with no fucking metronome, nothing, just raw. Like sorry, yeah, but fucking yeah, Paul from Cannibal and I would say Chester from Linkin Park, Chester and Mike Shinoda, just like they went like. The way they were a duo and stuff, that was like really influential.
Dude, they were tremendous.
Yeah, for sure.
They did have a good dynamic together that they did. So like, what's in the store? Do you guys have anything for the future going on right now for Exigent? What's in the works for you guys?
Got an EP show, 5/20.
Yeah.
May 20th. We'll be so far we got 2 more spots open. We're waiting on some people to answer, but it's Mange Apori from Pennsylvania and Sarkasukas from Long Island as well. We're waiting,
You said aborted?
but it'll be a few more people.
Yep, and like he was saying, our first EP will be debuting on 5/20. We put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this. It was kind of wild on the come up. We went through like some internal drama, some member changes. We ended up with this lineup. We kind of relearned our whole set, got ready to get back on the road, and then COVID hit and shut us down for another year, which in the moment was a horror story. However, it ended up playing to our benefit because it gave us another year. We never gave up on it. So it just put us in the practice studio for a year, just sharpening this knife of our first set. So when we debuted, like when we really came out with these 4 members and like really hit the scene in Long Island, we showed up as sounding like a band that's been doing it for a couple of years, because we were a band doing it for a couple of years. Just nobody ever heard of us. So it played to our benefit, and we kind of rode that set for about a year. We went from here to Pennsylvania, New Jersey, met a whole bunch of people, did a lot of networking, and we really held back on recording it until we could find the right producer. And when we did, it just worked out. The recording process was phenomenal. It didn't take too much time because we were so well rehearsed with it. And when it comes out, I think a lot of people are going to like it, man. Like, we put our heart and soul into it, and now we're writing the next chapter, which I think is going to blow people's heads off.
Yeah. Definitely gnarly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and shout out from home. Just hopping on shows and shit.
Yes.
Shout out to
There is somebody that actually did volunteer to play that EP show. If you guys didn't see in the chats, Ray did say that they can probably play that show. Oh, huge shout out to the boys in Raid. All fucking hail Raid, bro. Those kids are amazing. They're all in different projects. One of them's producing and shit. Amazing kids. I'll tell you what. Contact Reaper Booking.
Fans, because they're all just astonishing gentlemen.
Yeah.
Like every time we play a show at Raid, Mange, all of them, everybody that comes out, they throw down.
Merch.
They throw down, but they're gentlemen and respectful, and they welcome us as if they knew us for life. They're just the best.
Bro, that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. But also, I'll tell you what, contact Reaper Booking. I'm in Pennsylvania currently living.
Oh, no.
In Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Contact them. There's a venue called Love Drafts. Free shows, so basically nobody has to pay to get in. There's always people there. There's always people throwing down. And if I'm there, if I see you guys on the flyer and you let me know, I'll most definitely probably be there. So we could probably do a live interview as well. So there you go, that too as well.
Reaper Booking. So we actually messaged the guys for Reaper Booking, but we weren't able to play the show.
Oh.
Like he like made an open post, and I actually like had to go to a wedding that day.
Oh.
But
Okay.
we're on it.
They're trying, because what they're trying to do, because I've been in talks with one of them, that they're going to do they want to do a New York takeover, like festival type thing with a bunch of New York bands. You know, I'm trying to get and I gave him a list. He's contacting everybody, and that's out of my hands. So whoever he gets, whoever responds. You know what I mean? But
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Man.
no problem, man. You know, so, you know, like with this, you said you went to the Donkey a lot. You know, what was one, and RIP to that venue?
Yes, the best.
What was your favorite show? Because I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna lie, that Red Court show was one of my favorite shows there.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more great shows that happen there. I just want to know what were some of your favorite shows from that?
Okay, all right. You're tickling the little kid in me now. Like, the Red Chord. I only knew the Red Chord that night, so that's why I showed up. Oh, and All Shall Parish was on that. I knew those bands, but I didn't know See You Next Tuesday until I was older. But my favorite, or the show that meant the most to me there, was Animosity and Job for a Cowboy. I think Annotations of an Autopsy.
Yes. I fucking was there too. I fucking loved that show. I went up to fucking Monty with Animosity.
I was still a little guy, and like I flipped off the singer in Animosity. He did it right back, and I was like, "This is the coolest thing."
Yeah, he's fucking cool.
Suffocation, Hatebreed. Who ended that?
I remember that
Black
show.
metal bands.
I remember that show, and I couldn't make that show.
No,
The Suffocation, Hatebreed,
Behemoth.
And,
Suffocation played so nuts that they broke the PA system, and Behemoth couldn't play.
Did you guys ever go to a Hobbs Fest by the way?
Yeah, I think like that's at his house. Like,
Well, yeah.
But I can't like remember what happened because I was a degenerate.
Well, you know, I was probably baked half the time there too. I was thrown down during Merciless Concept. I went to the 2017. Yeah, I went to the 2017 Hobbs Fest. Like not the last one, but the one before that. But at the Donkey, there is one tour that actually I will always remember. That was Thrash and Burn tour with Winds of Plague, Misery Signals, Darkest Hour, Arsis, After the Burial.
Winds of Plague was easily my favorite deathcore band when I was that young, and I never saw them. I never got to see them.
You never got to see? Oh, fuck.
Never seen Winds of Plague, and they were definitely my favorite at that time.
That's great. I saw them at Irving Plaza with Terror. Terror, All Shall Perish, The Ghost Inside. And all I remember is during Winds of Plague, my friend got his nose broken. I don't know. I was somewhere on the floor. My other buddy was with him. He's like, bro, you got to stay down. He's trying to get up. He goes, bro, they're playing Reloaded. And he just goes back in with a fucking broken nose. I was like, well, yeah, it's Reloaded. I'd go in fucking if I had a broken nose still for Reloaded.
Tonight we dine in hell. The fuck?
Exactly.
Brother, I have a question for you. Do you remember Molly Bloom's on Main Street in Smithtown? Because you're of the age.
That one, that one I never went to. I had a few friends that went to that, like when Dying Fetus would play there and stuff. I went to the second one, My Blooms 2, where Revolution used to be. That used to be My Blooms 2. That was my first show, actually. It was As I Lay Dying, All That Remains, and Himsa.
Like shortly before it shut down.
Yeah.
It was actually our second real deal gig. It was before our brothers Jay and Joe joined, when we had like some other gentlemen in the band, and it was kind of wild for me because I was just getting into being in a band. Like, I played guitar for 15 years, wanted a band, went into the service, got out of the service, kept playing guitar, got to a point I was like, all right, the electric's taking me nowhere. Maybe I'll try to sing some country or something along those lines. And out of nowhere, like AJ said, you know, that we had a mutual friend who was a drummer, got into it, started gigging. We played like a garage show. We played some like no-name show in Smithtown. And then we had all collectively gone to Revolution to see Wage War on the Dead Weight tour when they were still heavy. And within like, what, a month and a half, we were standing on the same stage.
Yeah, it was real short after. Now, we were under a different name at the time. We used to be Valve Affliction.
Yeah, it was moving for me. I never, like, I always wanted music, desired it. It was one of like my biggest like lifelong dreams, but I gave up on it. And what really, really ignited me was I just saw, like, at the time I was a big Wage War fan. On that album, I really enjoyed them. And then to be standing on the stage, I was like, if they played here and I could play here, like, this is definitely worth putting more effort into. And it's just been all serious ever since.
Well, yeah, well, there you go, man. Like, you got to keep going for it. Like, for me, like, this is what, and just give you guys advice, don't stop doing it then, too, because then you lose, not like lose connections, but for me, I stopped. I was running active from what, 2004 to 2012. Yeah. And then did like guest vocals here and there, tried doing I had a studio project I called The Concubine. I haven't released that yet. And then did merch for people. So I kind of felt like I demoted myself in a way. I'm trying to get back into it, hopefully. Maybe I'll let you guys know if I do something. If I don't, either way. But yeah, guys, just keep going with it then. Just don't stop momentum.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
100%, man.
Yeah, we're planning on it. We got a lot.
We're not going to stop until something breaks or the wheels fall off or I blow out in the ring.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay, let's see if you remember it, because there was a band that was from out east that I was in, and it was like the Calverton, Riverhead area.
Okay.
They were a thrash band. I was only in the band for a month. I did one show with them at Shakers. They were called An Epitaph.
What was the band's name?
An Epitaph, or The Epitaph.
The Epitaph. No, I don't think so.
No. Yeah, there's some crazy, weird thrash band. We had a keyboardist. I don't know. I was like, there's not really that many breakdowns in this band, but whatever. I'll just do it. I'll just do it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you guys have basically been on the show for halfway through. For being on the show, who would you guys want to see on this podcast? And for this disclaimer, it doesn't have to be local. It doesn't even have to be national acts. You could do artists like painters, business owners, somebody that has a different profession of some sort. Anybody.
Ooh. You had a lot of our friends on already. So it's actually a thinker a little bit.
I mean, if you want music and painting, I know Pig Farm.
Big Farm.
Pig Farm does more.
Yeah, actually, shout out Pig Farm. Reach out to them. They are our literal day ones. Like we played our first show in a garage with them, and I wouldn't have been able to play my first 3 shows without their head. Like like Zach from Pig Farm. If you're watching this at some point, dude, no, seriously, man. If you're watching this, I love you so much. They're just phenomenal people. They're a wild band. They don't have a guitarist. They're a 3-piece. They have a bassist that plays through a guitar amp. And they, like, when they show up, you look and you go, this isn't going to work. And then the second they start playing, you're just moved.
Yeah.
Like, they are wild group. Their vocalist, Nick, I want to say his last name's Nick Terranova or Nick Terranova.
Yes, so close.
Their vocalist is
Great
an
team.
incredible artist, like my vocalist is too. Our
All right.
No, AJ does all of our artwork for all of our stuff. He's incredible, but dude, Nick is excellent, and they're just 3 awesome, humble guys that support the scene. I would love to see them on there. And
Their new EP is heavy as hell.
Yeah, they just put out a new EP last week.
All right. Well, shout out Pig Farm. And also, of course, dude, anybody named Nick would be sick as a vocalist.
I don't know if you've interviewed any of these guys. Dead Reckoning, Patterns of Decay, and Some the Plague are
Yeah.
3 of the sickest bands I've seen live. It's like, it's very humbling to have shared the stage on the same night as them. They are just absolutely incredible. They're heavy, they're tight, they're dedicated to their craft. They're so good, just so good. They really are.
Yeah.
Oh,
Big
yeah. I love Jesse from Patterns. I've known him since he was he played bass for this band called Iscariot. And Vinny I've known since I was 16, 17 years old, so I'm going to be 36 now. Yes, I've known him for almost 20 years.
Benny from Summon?
Yeah.
So his cousin was our first drummer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Vinny,
No, it's Andrews.
Andrews.
Oh, no, Andrew's cousin.
The guitarist.
Oh, Velez. Okay, Velez. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Word.
Yeah,
If you want, if you do like, I would say my artist for you, if you want to do like some South American stuff that's like pretty popping out there, I would say the band Murder. I can send you their Instagram. It's my uncle's band. They're like, for all my death metal fans out there, it's like Necrophagus with like dying fetus lambs. So if anyone's a fan of that, go search their shit right now because it's fire.
and this is 100% certified true. This gentleman grew up partially in his childhood in Ecuador.
Oh, word. Oh, shit.
Touch with South American metal.
It's kind of crazy because you remind me of the first drummer I was in a project with. I was actually in 2 projects with him, and like I don't know, like you talk about groove too. Like this dude used to wear like fucking weights on his ankles and have like a mirror next to him to check his posture. And he was a fucking machine, and that's all I could picture you doing is just being mad fluent with it. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong. I don't know, but
Well,
He performs.
I can speak on this. I can speak on this. When we tried him out, when we eventually like parted ways with our old drummer, when we tried him out, we weren't sure because like we found him. He was jamming at our first we were renting rooms for hourly, and like we ran into him jamming with somebody, and they sounded really good. And this is a cool story. It's worth capturing. So we found him. I actually went in, tried to do some vocals. I'm really not that good, but it kind of worked. Sounded good, and he sounded really good. He hits really hard. So we went through it. We jammed out. I reached out to him and his friend, and I was like, would you guys want to come down? Because in the moment, I thought they were kind of a package deal when we kind of wanted to stay a 4-piece, but I was like, all right, maybe we'll bring the guy in, we'll see what's going on. So bring him in, tries out, we do a practice. His guitarist just wasn't kind of with it, kind of doing his own thing, but he was really dedicated. So I reached out to him again. I said, are you and your friend a package deal? And he goes, no. So I go, all right, come down and why don't you try out with us and like by yourself? So we ran a song with him and like he learned it that day. Like that practice session, back then we only rented 3 hours. So you had 3 hours to get your fucking work done. And he got it. So we were like, all right, we're going to give you the audio of some tracks, learn another one. So he works, by the next weekend, he's got the first one that we jammed perfect. And he's got half of the second one done. So me, AJ, the founding members, and Joe, who's already in the band, kind of talked to each other and we're like, all right, if this guy's willing to work hard enough that he gets the second song perfect, like, oh, we're going to let him in the band. Yes. Okay. So we planned the whole thing. So we go in, basically we get to that practice, and we planned it out that we were going to get really mad that he wasn't doing it good enough, even though he nailed it. And we even bought him a cake. Yeah. We bought a chocolate cake and everything. And I told them, I was like, at a certain point in the song, you know what? Just take your instruments off, throw your mic down, storm out. So they walk out of the room.
Keep in mind, I'm like stoned to the bone. I was like, yo, what the fuck?
No, so me and AJ walk out. We come back in, like, he's like shitting his pants. And because I'm going like this and going, dude, I don't know. Hold on a second. I got to talk to my friends. 1 minute. Oh, we had already made the decision that he was part of the family. So I go out. We let it simmer. We let it work its way in. The juices get into the soul. We come in. I'm like, can you come out? Can you come outside real quick? Just come out for a second. And as Exigent, I want to say this to everybody that's out there. Our motto, and we say this to each other every time we leave practice, is how bad do you want it? Yep. Are you going to show up? Like, that's our motto. How bad do you want it? We're so corny, we're like a football team. Yeah. We put our hands in, go 1, 2, 3, how bad do you want it? Real fucking bad. That's how we've left every practice for 4 years. But we're here today because of the attitude. We don't give up. So moving forward, we bring him out. He's like, what's up? And I go, you know what, man? I don't think you're working out. Can you just answer a question for me? How bad do you want it? Like, how bad do you actually want it? He doesn't know what to say. He felt like really humble. He didn't know what to say. And he's like, I don't know. We're like, yo, come on, just answer the question. How bad do you want it? And he goes, bad? We whip out a chocolate cake and had a party on it, and it's been that ever since.
Yeah, I hit his car then.
Yo, hold on. That night, I invite him back to my house to cook a dinner, like celebrating everything, and this guy rear-ended my car.
I thought he was gonna go, bro. He didn't. It was a stop sign. There was no one coming.
No. The thing is, like, you didn't tell me that just because you need glasses, you're colorblind and red, so you can't see stop signs.
Hey, man. Sometimes you can't see. I be victim of that too. So,
like, it's a beautiful story, man. Like, the way it all came together, and in reality, like, I don't want to sound like so corny or anything, but like, you're looking at like 4 kind of lost people that just randomly ended up in each other's lives, and it's become family. And like these guys have taken care of me. I've taken care of them. Like, it's like really just like, I don't know. I don't have words for it, man.
It's
Like it.
supposed to be like a family, though, a band, which a lot of people don't understand. Some people use it as a business end. Yes, you're supposed to use it as business end, but there's supposed to be a duality and a balance of that, of family and business. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't understand that, but I don't know. I've just me with a trial and error of being in bands and then just going like being in one band and then just keep trying out and getting in it and then being like, well, there's a lot of drama in here. I'd rather not deal with that than dip out. And, you know, or just other things of not doing things the right way. You guys have two guitars and and drums. You guys bought T-shirts for the printed T-shirts for the band, but you don't even have a vocalist, which I just came in to do. You don't even have a bass player. You only have 3 songs. So there's things like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and it's just you guys. It's almost like, bro. It's basically almost like being in a relationship. There's there has to be full communication. There has to be dedication. There has to be hard work to it. So yeah, that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? That's definitely 100% what it's all about. Because in my eyes, at least in my opinion, that's how you're going to make it or pursue it. Don't let one person just promote shit. Everybody promote shit. Because I was the only one on the end of promoting shit in a lot of projects I was in. And that's ass
Yes.
dragging, dude. You doing most of the work, it's not worth it. But I have 2 questions. Oh, that was a long-winded answer me. Sorry. Whew.
No problem, man.
2 questions. These are 2-parter things a little bit that I usually do towards the end. So, because it seems like you guys have a lot of heart, which is great.
Thank you.
For anybody that's going to wanting to do music like you guys did, or wanting to pursue to find something, or want to do art, want to open up their own business, want to go to school for something, wanting to try to do something that they think that they're really interested in, never done it before, but they think that they can't. What advice could you give them?
Just do it. Doesn't matter what the outcome is. The process makes you better at it. So as long as you're doing it and you don't care how it comes out, you just care that you're doing it, it'll constantly become a better product. The more you practice toward it, the better it gets. Doesn't matter if it's drawing or making music or writing, or the more you do it, the better the outcomes become.
I got a long story on this one. No, not really, but no. I've been homeless. I've been in the military. I've had 2 house fires. I built up a whole life, watched it burn in front of me. If you stick to what you really want, and if you really believe in it, you can get it. And every single obstacle that comes in your way that's a no, that's a 1 no closer to a yes.
Yep.
Just don't give up. Like, I don't know, it sounds so cliche to say. It really does. And man, like, if you're watching this right now, I can't tell you the things that I've been through, and it doesn't even matter because it doesn't equate to what you've been through. You've been through your own struggle. You've been through your own thing. But do not quit. Just go 1 more day. That's it. 1 more day. Even though you're tired, you don't want to do it, the best nights of my life the last couple of years were the nights that I didn't want to go to practice with this band, but I showed up anyway. And I left feeling brand new for the rest of the week. Just go out and get it. The last second when you're like, you know what, I just want to give up, go 1 more day. That's my advice.
Solid.
Word.
You said exactly what I would have said. The amount of time I want to go to practice, I don't feel like playing. I'm not in a good mood. I don't feel like cracking jokes. As soon as I step out of the car, one of these dudes make me laugh for a couple. Oh, I got a new riff, and I feel brand new. Come on.
Yeah, I would say really do what you want, man. Like, people don't realize how much your thoughts and about things, like, you really manifest everything. And I think just do what you want with love, man, without caring about what people say about it and what they think. Like, oh, that sounds cool. Or you rapping, or you doing it. Like, fuck that, dude. Do what you want. do it with love and passion and believe in it and believe in yourself, even when you know you're struggling and no one else really got your back. Or just do it, man. Just fucking wake up and do it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Word. And also there's the two-parter to this. You know, people, you know, everybody deals with anxiety, everybody deals with depression, everybody deals with dark times, which is what you just said. I've dealt my fair share with dark times too, a lot. But anyway, for anybody that is going through a said dark time and doesn't really see the light of it because it just keeps getting hammering, it doesn't stop raining, it's never-ending bullets, what advice could you give them from there?
My advice is my number is 631-644-3413. And it's online 24/7. And you give me a call if you're listening to this. Because you and I can get through this together. And it's really not as big of a problem as you think it is. Even if it feels like a mountain falling down on top of you. One day, if you dodge that mountain, you're going to land in an oasis. And I lived that. And that's for you, whoever hears this.
That was beautiful.
Definitely a freedom. And I mean, like you just said, when the storm keeps coming and like one bad thing after another happens, once you realize that sometimes like bad shit's always going to happen to you. I mean, it sounds morbid, but once you realize how to deal with it, you're kind of unstoppable because you recognize that storm's going to keep coming, but you're stronger for it.
Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Everybody has bad days, and you just got to live through them. Like, you can't let a bad day determine how you're going to feel about everything that you interact with for the rest of the day, because everybody's got different things going on. They can't know what you're going through. So you have to just look at life as if it's another ride. Another day is a gift to anybody. And like Chris said, like, if you're going through something, maybe you don't need medicine or like professional help, but someone to talk to, you can find them. They're out there. There's always someone, especially us. If anyone who follows me, you can DM me. I have lots of people who talk to me about mental health. I was trained as a nurse, so
He is my therapist.
yeah. Anyone. Like, I lived through a lot. I wasn't ever full on homeless, but I was very close to being homeless. I've had some rough times myself, and every day you push through it is a better one.
Word.
Keep fighting for what you deserve out of this life. You know, it's kind of hard for me to answer this because like I've grown accustomed to being fortunate to have like this outlet with these guys by my side every day and stuff. So, but yeah, basically what they said, you know, and the same thing, reach out all the time, you know, like even if you feel like there's nobody, there's always somebody, you know, always somebody that can help. Even if it's a band member, like there was a time where I was really struggling with alcohol and, you know, I got sober because I messaged a band member and he was cool enough to chat with me every night just to keep my mind off of drinking and keep me pursuing drums and making sure I was focusing and practicing and stuff like that. So, and at that time, I didn't think there was anybody, but there always is, you know, and we're definitely for those people. So, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Word. What about you, man?
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, not to put everyone's business out there, but I mean, I remember one thing when Jay Ben, one of the first things he said was talking about losing his mother, and we didn't even realize that all of us had connected over losing a parent, and we thought we were joining a band and joined the family, you know, as corny as that sounds, you know. And there's never a time where, you know, 1 a.m, I could call these guys and picking up the phone, whatever I need, man. So it's heavy shit.
And even our closest friends, like, our friends help us set up at shows, you know, help us with everything. Like those people, we're just very fortunate to have the camp that we have, and including the whole scene out here too. Everybody's awesome. You know, all the bands rule. Everyone wants to play together. It's not, you know, it's not no ego thing. Everyone wants to have dance, see dancers. It's all sick. So, yeah.
There's way more
Yeah.
members to Exigent. Only 4 of us play the instruments.
Yeah,
That's
hell
kind
yeah.
of what we.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's you know, I know it sounds so cliche, but like, man, it is so much of the family.
Hell yeah.
It's the family I never had, man. Like, it's wild, dude. We're a local band. You know, we're not Metallica. We're not touring the world. But we have
Maybe a jersey though. Hell yeah.
well, we have everything because we have each other.
Yeah.
And we won't quit. And I can look in all of their eyes, and I know they won't give up on me. So I won't give up on them, and that's what makes this work.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. That was all beautifully said. Damn. Sorry, I had to take that in for a minute. So do you guys have any shout outs you want to give?
Shout out to Targeted. My little brother is in that band, and they're fucking awesome. They're so great. They're good dudes. Stabbed, Blame God. All those guys are great. Mange, Abscess Pool.
Wound Up Nerds. Shit.
Some in the Plague.
Obviously, Ray.
Shout out Nina Jacobson, the owner of Shakers,
Oh,
for
yes,
keeping
yeah.
a local venue alive.
And shout out to you for doing these types of podcasts and things, letting people have an outlet to
Yes.
talk about their stuff. So
Yeah, we're super appreciative.
yeah, hell
Hey,
yeah.
man, it's you know, when I was younger and doing vocals and first started getting in the scene, it was, you know, I felt like I didn't fit in, and I did, but I didn't fit in high school, or I didn't find that group of friends really that would just what friendship would mean. So getting into this and meeting all the people that I did and having the opportunities that I had, I felt like I should at least give something back, you know what I mean? And for me to support a local music scene and somebody that was a vocalist and a musician and was dying, like literally dying to just tour, just go on stage, just because of my own mental health. That was my catharsis. That was my outlet. That was everything that I had for me. So, you know, that for everybody then, you know, I'd like to know, you know, everybody has a backstory. Everybody has a different story. I'm not the same as somebody else, and that other person isn't the same as the other person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so for me, like, you know, I've lived in 2 different countries and 3 different states. I've met many different walks of life, and everybody has their own different story. So not only just for the Long Island music scene and other local artists, or may that as it be as just the bands I've looked up to when I was younger, or somebody that's an artist, or somebody that's still trying to do something that's professional and something that's like a tattoo artist. I want to bring exposure, and it's interesting to hear people's stories, man.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, I was in local hardcore and deathcore for years, and like I never found friends that wanted to be in a band. I don't play any instruments. I just, you know, I'm a vocalist. I just scream and shit. So I had very little to offer guys. So that's why I'm so grateful to have this now, because it took me for so long to do it.
yeah, I mean, well, yeah, that's it can take a while, especially if you don't start out in the scene as a vocalist. I mean, I remember that's why I said when I did that little gap, then there's a new wave of kids that come in.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know them, they don't know you really, so it's like, you know, weird or whatever, but and then, you know, you have nothing really to go off of, or any of the recordings, because you either got trashed,
Yeah.
or or one of the band members took your recording. Meanwhile, it was probably one of your best recordings that you've done. But you know, it's just, you gotta just keep going, keep being relevant. You know what I mean? And yeah, I might. And long story short, I might come back into vocals, hoping, God willing, and there might be.
I hope you do, and I tell you what, we run into a lot of Long Island folk looking for a sick vocalist. We're in the compound, So there's a lot of people looking for vocals. I would love to hook you up. And also, I'd just love to meet you in person, shake your hand and buy you a beer. Dude, this is wild. Like I didn't know like what I know what a podcast is. I didn't know what it was to be on one or be interviewed. Like what you're doing, although you're not in a band, you're doing such a beautiful thing. Like really, man. The same thing we just told all the listeners. You keep doing it too, man.
Oh, thank you.
I'm watching.
You could be the next bro Joe.
Yeah, you know, like one of my roommates through here were like, you know, you could be the next Joe Rogan, have a setup. I'm like, well, I haven't done audio episodes yet, which those are topic based. Those are not interviews. And these will, by the way, all these videos will soon, when I figure it the fuck out, to get all of them, to go to YouTube, and they're going to be on other social media platforms. And hopefully after this episode, maybe we'll be at 1,000 followers, and I'll print merch.
If we get your 1,000th interview, if we get you to 1,000, you know what that means? We gotta promote you every time you put an episode out.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to do that, I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but like the one person that I actually have to give a shout out to for me starting to do a podcast really is Oscar from the Gooned Up Nerds. I came back from Canada. I was engaged and living in Montreal. I moved back to New York. I was homeless, kind of. I was living in a hotel. And I wanted to do a podcast. He was doing Gooned Up Nerds at that point, and he was like, what do you want to call it? I'm going to call it Trash Culture. He goes, what do you want topics to be? I'm like, anything and everything. I have mental health. I have legalization of weed in New York. I have the golden era of metalcore. I have a few episodes on there and a couple that I haven't put up. So there's that. So I definitely have to give him a shout out, because if he didn't plant that seed or that idea in my head, I wouldn't be sitting right here. So, but you know, and also like, you know, it is beautiful, and I'm very happy right now, because the way that the times right now, and the era right now in Long Island, is the fact that everybody is being very much like a family to each other, and so much unity, and I'm loving that, because when I first started going to shows in 2004, that's how it was. After a few years, it kind of didn't do that, and now it seems like it's going back to it, and I'm loving every second of it. I'm loving every second that there's bands that all sound different and just in their own genuine way. I am proud of everybody, and whatever Long Island band is watching this and listening to this, I'm proud of all of you motherfuckers for doing all of this and all the genuine shit that you do. Raid, fucking Pink Mist, you guys, Summon the Plague. I could keep fucking going on, Wreath of Tongues, and I won't shut up because it's a long fucking list. So, you know, like, you guys keep doing your shit. Keep holding it the fuck down. I'll keep promoting that. That's all I got to say about that. Everybody, and that means anybody also, anybody in the U.S., anybody in the world that is watching this, keep doing your thing. Keep running your shit. Just like they said, follow it. Follow a dream. And that's one thing that I wanted to say to everybody. I've been going through shit for 5 years, and I kept it quiet for you guys. I didn't want to push anything on everybody. There might be an episode where I just spill everything out. Maybe, who knows? But what I'm saying is that I didn't give up. I didn't lay in the dirt. I didn't go, I'm going to lay here right in the middle of the fucking road and fall asleep and just hopefully maybe wither away and just die. I kind of wanted to, but I didn't. Oh, yeah, exactly. You got to keep pushing that shit. And this is the whole thing. And this is why I do this whole podcast. Basically, there always is a message, and there's a main message behind this podcast, and it always was unity. It always was bringing people together, different walks of life together. So that's why the whole other beautiful thing about finding different people's stories. People watching your episode or somebody else's episode, they've never seen you. You never checked them out. You know what I mean? Whether it's just another musician or an artist or somebody else, a comedian that I have on here, you know, like, it's just human connection. That's all it is, and that's all I'm trying to do.
You're doing God's work, brother.
I guess.
Said before, when I put my phone number out on live, that's for you too.
Thank you. Thank you. I greatly appreciate that. I do greatly appreciate that because, you know, I will tell everybody I fucking miss home.
Will see this, but I swear to God, like if you really are going through some shit, and I know it sounds cliche, I will answer my fucking phone.
Oh man, I greatly appreciate that, dude. I know, I really do. I really do. You know, like I do appreciate that. I'm good. I'm fine. Everything is fine. But with the story, I'm gonna let everybody know eventually. I'll eventually when I have time. I might have a guest on somewhere I can bounce it up back and forth off of somebody.
And you gotta be ready to, you know, you gotta be ready.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I am. I just want to, you know, I don't want to take anybody else's spotlight. That's, you know what I mean? I want to be able to do it like as one episode by itself and then just, you know, put it there.
Sure thing.
Yeah. So I might do that tomorrow or whatever or whatnot. But guys, you guys seem very genuine. You guys seem like you have a lot of heart. Everybody fucking keep on the lookout. Stay on the lookout, especially on 5/20, May 20th of Exigent's EP coming out. These guys seem like they're very heart-driven, very creative, and very awesome dudes. So,
Thanks.
guys, thank you so fucking much for coming on the show.
We love all you guys,
Also,
dude.
if anyone on a little lighter note, me and Joe happen to be like professional backyard wrestlers. So if anyone wants to wrestle for a replica belt at Shakers on our show,
It's coming for the title. 520. You see?
Get rid of him!
This is great. Oh my God.
Alright,
There's a live match going on right now.
yep. Our first podcast, let it be known if we get famous, we're gonna cut you a check. Dude, thank you so much. I got a little emotional myself here. It was while being interviewed for the first time. This is so awesome what you're doing. It's such an honor that you reached out to us. We're so grateful. And dude, just keep doing what you're doing, and we'll make sure I'm gonna at least take every video that you put up on my shit.
Yeah.
And we'll do it for Exigent too, dude. You deserve we don't really have a platform. It's kind of like a swim edge.
Right.
Like it's one of those things you fall off of, but make it bigger. You know?
Gotcha.
All right.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, guys, once again, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for coming on the show.
Okay.
Guys, thank you for watching this episode of Trash Culture Podcast. This might be the last episode of this week.
What?
Maybe tomorrow we'll find something. Maybe tonight I'll have something. Who knows? But until next time, guys, like always, stay trashy, everybody.
Love you. Later.